How's it going, everybody? So, Bifan back with another video. So, today I'm gonna be recording some gameplay, and I got my friend on here. His name's Isaiah. So, what's up?
What's up, yo?
Yeah.
What's going
S-
on?
So, I'm sorry if I sound a little sick and stuff. I've been sick for like a week now. But we're just gonna be playing some Rocket League, and I just wanted to try something new, do some different videos. Um, I hope you guys enjoy this one. But so
I got
Isaiah,
what's up?
so what is kind of like your beliefs and how long ago did this start and like stuff like that?
Um, well, astrology kind of started back in my junior year and was never really into it. Didn't really have a um, just I mean, my parents were religious, so just kind of had that background with it. For me, it just kind of just going with the flow until um, like junior year, and I met this man's right here, and yeah, it just slowly got me into it, talking about it, got interested, and kind of became like my worldview now, my perspective. It's taught me a lot, but you know, pretty much it though.
Yeah. So um, Isaiah is kind of like the astrology guy. Yeah. He kind of takes it. He took it way farther than I took it, so he has a lot of good insights on that stuff, and that's kind of why I wanted to have him on the channel, because I know a lot of people are interested in the astrology thing, because a lot of people are just kind of interested in understanding themselves. So I just kind of want to throw him on there and see if you guys fucked with it or not. Invite me.
Well, I know. Hold on, it's like 2 minutes. Um, yeah, it's kind of like a big. Don't want to say it's a trend really either, but people be getting into it, and there's a lot of I guess mixed perspectives and ideals about it, and I don't know from personal experience. Um, and just reading from other people's and all that. Way different than what people think it usually is or what it means. Um, I'm also a Scorpio sun. I got a Gemini moon, Cancer ascendant. If any of y'all geeks know what that is,
Yeah.
but have you told them your rising sun and moon too?
Here and there, I haven't outed myself completely, but here I've said some things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of pseudo to because not a lot of people know about the moons or the other planets involved, the influences, mainly just the sun signs, but um, yeah, damn, got blown up too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like um, we interact well because of some of the similar signs that we have. Just two water signs in general. Usually they hit pretty good. It's kind of different with the Cancer, because a Cancer can be spiritual, but a Cancer sometimes chooses not to be,
Yeah,
because
they just it's like dipping their toes almost. They like want to tap into it. It's just they don't. It's like as far as they want to tap into it, far they'll go. So it's like they don't really want to get into it. They're very intuitive though. It's just it's whenever they want to act on it, not just on some mood they get. But
yeah, especially with them being ruled by the moon, like they feel it so much. Sometimes it's kind of a gift for them to turn it off, but not for too long. Cancers, don't be turning off for too long. You know, but it's kind of funny. No, but
oh, we know.
I've explained this a few times, I think, but like Pisces is essentially kind of out in the water, just kind of doing whatever it wants to do, because it's mutable, and Scorpio is kind of like the depths of the water type deal, because they're fixed, so it's a lot more cold down there. But you know,
Yeah.
if they heat up a little bit, then they can get out of it a little bit. But it's kind of what causes them to be stuck on emotion or stuck on situations, kind of deal.
Yeah, them Pisces, they need a little straight too. Be too far out in the waters,
Yeah,
going with the flow. Um, yeah, but best examples that we can give you for like, I mean, at least for Scorpios, Pisces, and all that. Like I said, um, Pisces, some man on a lifeboat somewhere, I don't know, way on the ocean, can't even see him. They're just enjoying the ride. Scorpios, I usually see them as like, I guess you could say a submarine, you know, where they're on the very bottom of the ocean. They could still see somewhat of the top, you know. They're still water signs, so they could still connect. They could see everything above them. It's just they're too far down where they don't want to get up late. And then cancers, you know, the crabs, they just want to come out. They just want to enjoy the water.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but water signs though, pretty fucking emotional.
yeah,
Um, especially the suns though. Suns, Venuses, moons. Typically the moons though, because the moons usually how you react, kind of your needs. Um, well, I'm of course Gemini moon, but very detached, aloof. So I don't like to. I like to think about my emotions since my sun's in Scorpio. That's my emotions and how I see things. So whatever I see or whatever circumstance I get into, I just like to look at it and think about it, not really feel. And that depends on what your moon is too, as well. And let me get out of this. We're gonna invite you. Ah, damn.
right on.
Ah, we litty.
Yeah. So,
So,
I kind of want to have a conversation with you about like some of the lesser known aspects of charts because some things are kind of harder for me to explain. But so like, what about like Lilith? Like, a lot of people don't know about their Liliths, and like, how do you kind of see that?
for me, I've understood it as it's like it's like your I don't really want to say desires, but it's like it is kind of off that, but it's kind of off of like your secret desires or passions. It's like the things that you'll do that will come off based off anger, jealousy, things like that. It's like it's just like with the story with Adam and Eve, and with Lilith in the mix too, where Lilith didn't want to submit, and she wanted to do her thing, and it's like the embodiment of like the feminine energy, where she wanted to do what she wanted, and so it was kind of the thing where um she just wanted to kind of just delve into her own desires. So whenever you act in those kind of ways of jealousy or anger, or your Lilith will shine in whatever house or element that you have, and um, that usually depicts like your shadow side. And usually your shadow side is um, a pretty big thing, especially if you're doing shadow work on yourself, becoming better for yourself and others, because that's usually one of the first things that you do coming out with those emotions. So best way I could explain it is that, you know, and we just got shot on, bro.
Sorry for the subpar gameplay. So do you kind of want to talk about your Lilith or my Lilith kind of deal?
Yeah,
You ever want to
so I
talk
mean,
about
I
yours?
guess so. I got my Lilith in my seventh house, which is also in Capricorn. Um, so with just the seventh house in general, seventh house usually represents, you know, marriage, relatability, relating, friendships, any sort that's kind of like that one-on-one. Um, so with Lilith being there, it's that desire of, for example, like wanting to connect, right? It's wanting that relationship, but that Lilith still wants the desire for itself still. So it's like I might want to be in one, but that other desire comes in where it's like, well, I don't really want to be in this like either. So it's like a kind of a mix of. So in some cases, I might really want to have a relationship or relate to people, but then it comes in where I don't, like I might reject it. I don't want to relate or be involved with other people. So that's where my shadow work has to come in because I may act in ways where I might say one thing where like I want the relationship or like let's thing, but then next thing you know it's like actually no, like I don't want to be around you. Um, might reject. Also with that too, because it's also vice versa. You might attract those things, not just you embody that either. So I might attract people that really want relationships, like deep down, but it's not reciprocated. Or like I may not want that, but they will. So you attract those energies as well. So you embody that, and that goes with not with just with your Lilith. It goes with your Sun, your Moon, your Venus. Um, that's why most of the times too. Goddamn, you usually attract those. Um, but yeah, it's also seventh house too, where I might, or it's also in Capricorn, so I might reject building with someone or something, or I might take wrong business deals, or anything financially. I guess I might take the wrong decision, not thinking it's the right thing, but there's also alternative motives with it I'm not fully aware of yet. Um, that's my Lilith, though. For example,
You keep
I believe
saying shadow work. What do you think? Like, how do you define that?
it's
For
kind of
people who
like
don't know.
it's for me. It's kind of like um, it's once you're aware of who you are, your surroundings, how you interact with people. Um, shadow work comes in where now you have to look out for your actions and other people's, not just yourself. So now you need to work on with how you come off and basically just that, just like other desires and all that. You need to work on with not to act in certain ways. Um, for example, like when you weren't aware, when you weren't into any religious background or astrology or any religious belief system that you had, you're just kind of doing things that that you thought were right. But once you become aware of something and of yourself, that's when you really start to notice who you attract and what you say, and just kind of overall what you need to work with how you come off to people and yourself. That was just my perspective of the shadow work.
Yeah. If you guys haven't
So
noticed, like,
damn.
uh, for me, but as well as Isaiah, because obviously we communicate and we talk about all this stuff. Um, a lot of people's problem with
Damn.
spirituality is everyone wants to talk about the positives, but the negatives is where it's at.
There's, yeah, there's a whole bunch of
Because
negatives.
that's the part that needs work, right? If you talk about only the positives, then like nothing gets done, and then you can develop ego. It's just there's a lot of problems that come with that, and that's
Ain't no
why,
way, bro.
yeah, I wouldn't call myself, like some people say, light workers or this and that. And that's why I don't resonate with a lot of the quote unquote spiritual community, because a lot of the stuff that they say is just not the whole
Go.
picture. Let's go.
Well, not just that too, but it's like I see it as well.
They're mad.
Like just, 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 just like with the negative aspect too. Um, Everyone wants to learn about the positives, the things that they are, and like it's all the stuff that they'd rather hear. It's just like with real. It's always they want to be preached to things that they want to hear, not the things that they need to work on. And that's where the shadow work comes in too. It's like it's not just positive aspects of yourself. Everyone has the negative. Everyone has these things. You see them. You know, not
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be this perfect person that you see in your head. That negative aspect is what you see with others that they need to work on within themselves. That's where that shadow work comes in. Um, but yeah, I mean, just to say it like it is, everyone's.
Everyone's messed up in some way. That's kind of why you're in a vessel. That's the whole point. But we try to do good when we can.
Yeah, I try. Yeah,
Yeah.
we try. Yeah. Not me.
I know everyone has a negative perception on the Scorpio.
What's up with that, bro? Yeah, I may
Do
be a
people
narcissistic,
dirty.
bro, but they ain't know my heart like that. Yeah, but there's plenty of tools all that online and all. You can find, your sun, moon, all your alignments. I mean, it's way deeper than sun sign. You can find certain asteroids, certain bodies within your actual chart itself, and yeah, I'd recommend getting into it. It's really changed my life. It's really helped. It's really shown me sides that you think that you're aware of, not just for me in general, but other people too. You think you know yourself until you're reassured of that's how you come off. That's who you are. Um, but bro, I just be zooming.
Yeah. So I know a lot of for the logical people. So they probably have a perception of astrology of that's your personality type, and a lot of stuff is too general. And what would you say to those sort of things?
It's too pseudo or broad or what?
It's too this is an area of my life and it plays out in this way, and that's just too generalized, because that seems to be the generalization of astrology, right? Pisces is emotional or this and that, right? And it's too generalized because other people are emotional and stuff too, right?
Yeah, well, see, it's just, I guess it's more of I don't want to say ignorance, but it's just every sign is everyone's emotional. It's just the way that the planets that you have and what modality, for example, right? Where Earth signs might be practical, they might think logical, they might think things realistically, no emotion felt, but just like water signs, they're emotional, not just emotional. I can't think of the other word for it. Just like air signs, they're communicative, they're very intellectual, they love to think, they have to talk. And then for the fire signs, I mean, fire signs are very emotional too. It's just they get caught up into too many feelings. Everyone has emotions. It's just comes off differently. It's not a specific. Oh, Pisces is emotional. Aquariuses are emotional too. It's just the way they might be emotional. They're very detached and they don't want to interact. They don't want to associate themselves with anyone. You know.
And you said modalities. For people who don't know, modalities is kind of like the mode that the element that is in, what it's in. So, for example, Pisces is mutable water. So if you understand what water means, and then you understand what mutable means, therefore that's essentially what the Pisces giving off, right? Same thing with so, for example, that's why we said out in the water is Pisces, because it's mutable. And deep in the water is Scorpio, because it's fixed, right? It's more cold down there, whatever. And the cardinal is a little harder to explain, but I see it as the initiator. So it's not it can be, but they were the first to do something. But yeah, they initiate it, kind of deal. And so once you understand the elements and the modalities, it's kind of the most important part, in my opinion. And then you can understand the different decanates, which are just the sections of degrees, which have different influences and stuff like that, right? Gotta win this.
No,
win this for the channel.
Off topic, Fabian, but I don't know. Actually, I actually enjoy doing this. I just have to get comfortable with it, but that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Just getting off of it's like more soft approach. Cause like I really want to get down into fucking business. It's
I
just
know,
hard.
I know it's hard because
Hard.
it's like, and the thing. So I made this video a while ago, and I said to everybody, I was like, I'm no longer trying to like systematically teach them. Like, if they want to systematically teach themselves, that's awesome. But I kind of just want to put out whatever I want to put out. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, then hopefully, they can go and they can try to figure that out. But I'm not going to be the one to teach them. If they have
Yeah.
questions and it's a video I want to do, that's awesome. I love that. And I'll try to touch on that subject, right? But ultimately, you can't be like the end all be all of information. So, just whatever you want to talk about, right? That's
Yeah,
kind of the point of the
I don't know.
video.
It's just like I don't know. I want to get so deep into it.
Yeah,
At some point we will, but
yeah.
um,
You gotta get comfortable too. It's
well, like it's not just the comfort. It's like I just want to get into it, but it's like fuck. Um. Anyways,
well, let's
what
get
were
into it. What do you want to talk about? What aspect has been on your mind heavy?
um. I don't know where to start. I mean, I guess the only thing I could start kind of the self. Um. Putting yourself on the cross. Like that's kind of the best way we can kind of reach people.
Yeah.
Just like with actually, hold up. Let me I guess we can go to sun signs because you kind of made a whole video with kind of having a general breakdown, and I want to see if I can add on to what you know
What video?
with the sun signs.
Oh, yeah. See, I I kind of did a bad job with sun signs. Not gonna lie, but there's some information that's good on there. But
No, no,
yeah,
let me hear it. Come on,
some are bad. Some are bad.
let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Hear what?
You gotta add on. We gotta elaborate.
Oh, of like what I did
Break
bad.
break down. Yeah.
Oh,
No, no,
like
no, 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 no. Just like in general, like what you or like even now, like what do you believe sun signs have? Like, what is your sun sign? Is it your ego, vitality, like
okay.
how you see the world? Like, what is it?
Is all of those things right? Um, because it's stuck in my brain, I gotta say it. The things that I did bad were naming off the specific energies for the sun signs. Like, the thing is with astrology, you have to give so many examples so that people, we're from different walks of life, right? So you have to give
Yeah.
examples so that maybe they can find that specific example that makes sense to them, then they can resonate with that example, and then therefore they can actually, you know and
Oh, it's fine.
have some like connection to the subject that you're talking about. Oh, is that it? Is that it? No. And so my problem is me not having understanding about some of these some of these sun signs that I do not interact with on a daily basis. So I can't provide examples to them. I may understand the energy, modality, all that, but I know big F. But I don't understand them specifically, right? So that was the problem I have with that. But so I'm a Pisces, right? And so I think about it as it's the way you see the world, obviously, and it's the way you it's the way it can be your vitality, like your life. It could like kind of like your health, which other planets play an aspect of that, right? But it's kind of like the energy you give off to others. It's so I do want to do a video on light. I haven't done a light video, but I'm going to. That's on the agenda. But so you give off energy to others, and as you give off energy to others, then they take that a certain way, right? And then that's their own planets interacting with themselves. But the energy that you're giving off, that's going to be your sun. And now it might be perceived a certain way initially, which that's your ascendant, or it might feel a certain way, which that would be, kind of like your Mars, your Venus, your moon all playing part of that, right? But Your sun is just what you're giving off. It's what you're giving to the world or to others or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, and I want to add on to that the way I've learned the sun sign, because I'm a sun sign Scorpio, and mine is in my fifth house. So the way that I want to like protrude and put energy into the area of life that I see it is with um, entertainment, anything that entertains me, right? Or any like could be game, it could be anything. You know, it's endless possibilities. Or it
Mm-hmm.
could be with your dating life. Um, it's like how do I want to word it? It's like it's just like a very like well the sun is also exalted. It's also a house of which it likes to be in. So it's like my actions will do best in the areas of life that I take action in that I like doing. So anything with entertainment or games, anything that entertains or having a social like dating life, things like that. So it's like the way I see the world is through that. Like that's how I perceive things, and which across the fifth house is the 11th is Aquarius, which Taurus would be at. So people would see me, my associates would perceive me as that, which I would want to act that way towards my associates. It's like that almost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's usually like your vitality of life sun at. It always depends what house it's in. That's usually the area of life that you would act on and where you feel most comfortable with as well.
Yeah.
Um, just like with yours, what you're a ninth or eighth?
My son?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think, right? Yeah, eighth.
Um, so if you were born before, like in the morning, or if you're born during the day, your sun sign would be on the what's the axis called? It'd be with Libra to Pisces. That's where your sun sign would be. And if you're born at night, then your sun sign would be on the bottom quadrant of it, which is Aries to Virgo. And depending on which house that your sun is in, that could also affect the health, what kind of health that you have. So if you got a sun in your sixth house, you might act on, worrying too much. You might do with trying to organize things. You're a big organizer. You might worry too much, which gets you sick. I mean, it all adds up, but you know, it's very deep than what people think it is. Um, yeah, just
Yeah.
there's
There's
just
so much. There's so much to cover. Like
I'm
astrology
not sure.
is a massive topic. There's, you can get down to like there's you can go through all the planets, you can go through all the houses, you can go through even certain sections of the houses and sections of the signs themselves. It's just it's a massive topic and there's so much to cover that like obviously we're not gonna get to it all, but you know maybe people want to go and figure that information out for themselves and that's awesome, you know. But that's another thing. Like spirituality is literally understanding yourself, understanding others, and then understanding the world that you're in, and that's all spirituality. So therefore, you think it's literally everything you do on a daily basis. That's spiritual, right? But it's all about perception, and that's kind of the funny part of it, right? So some people are just more surfaced, which would mean they're more into reality, and then some people are more in their head or more emotional, right? It's kind of it's funny how it all works, but oh, another thing I do want to emphasize on is you can still be logical if you're Pisces. You can still be this and that. The thing is, the way I see it at least, I don't know if you see it the same way, Isaiah, but the signs that you have are kind of like the force that pulls you kind of deal, if that makes sense. So it's the thing that you use, and like the thing that like is comfortable to you, or the thing that you unconsciously do, but you could use a different sign for different things. So you could use, the opposite sign of you, if you can, if you choose to do so, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
I didn't word it the best.
your sun sign's a little harder to do it because kind of like your ego. That's just kind of the
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
But with like your moon or Venus or whatever planet you have, for example, right? If you have, let's just say, an Aries moon, or let's just say for Venus, right? I don't like not very self-centered, but you just want to do things your way. Like you don't want no one else to control you on, or else you just want to escape that shit. It's like, but if there's a situation where you have to be more relatable and it's more group orientated, and you can't be that energy that you're given, then you can hop into that Venus, which is the opposite of it, which might be a little uncomfortable to do that, but that is being comfortable with uncomfortability. Um, you don't
yeah.
always have to be that one sign. There's different energies. Getting dogged on.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. But no, that's that's good that you say that. It's yeah, there's just there's so much to talk about.
I'm just trying to think of like one thing in particular that's like good. I mean, sun signs are good, but it's like I don't know, bro. It's like it's just I I see where you were at too when you're trying to like start with everything too. It's like trying to get a glimpse of how to like teach. That is hard.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
no,
um, it's it might be a little easier if you are into some form of religion, or if you have some sort of spirituality behind it, because there might be an instance where you could actually grasp onto the concepts of astrology more. Like if you were into, I mean, if you were an atheist or if you had no religious background, I believe astronomy would actually be that to turn to, um, rather than just having a, what's the word, like like a dogmatic kind of interpretation of it, where you need to see it to believe it kind of thing.
yeah,
Where all spirituality is kind of, you have to rely on faith in the things that you can't see.
yeah.
Um, and just like with you, you were, how did you get in? I know you've told me a while ago, but you had a different than me,
I did different
because
what?
with like religion or just philosophy in general. Like
Oh,
how did you begin? Like
oh.
for you to.
I've kind of explained this in my very first video. I've never super gone in depth with it, but I had a obviously I had a spiritual background, but not pushed on me. So I had a Catholic uh, parents. They weren't super Catholic, but obviously sometimes went to the Catholic church and stuff. And then I had a Christian grandma, stuff like that, right? So it's always like I always was aware of God kind of deal, or something higher, right? And so then I kind of started questioning it, and like, well, this isn't right, and like, how can this be, and like, if it's there, then I want to see it, like that kind of deal. And then that led me on to a lot of other things, led me to science for a while, and then I was like, okay, well, they're both right. Science and religion are the same, and they see it in different ways. And then that kind of got me into learning about myself more. And then there came astrology. I had some influences from a previous ex of mine, which kind of woke me up a little bit, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is really interesting." Like, obviously, when you're young, you always hear that like, "Oh, you're a Virgo or you're a Pisces," but then once you actually like look at it, and you start to understand like what that means, and you're like, "Whoa," it really explains kind of like who you are, who you're becoming, kind of deal. And so I went into that, and then after I kind of left astrology for a little while and went on to other like big concepts of like how we're here, what God is and stuff, and then I went into like sacred geometry and stuff. But now it's kind of like a mixture of all that, and so I just go out, I look at daily life, and then I realize that like that is spiritual. You know, like me interacting with people, like that's deep. You know, that's that's what everything is. So just kind of it all went from there. And but when I was younger, I obviously was really into like fantasy shit and like things that aren't here, right? Things that I could do or others can do that don't necessarily exist here. And so it kind of went into that, right? But then you start to realize like you can do all that shit, but because you're bound by this world's restrictions, that you only can do it in this world ways, but it still exists. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So powers are real. Flight is real. Like certain things are real, but it's the way that you see them, and then the way that the current body you're in can only do it in certain ways, but that thing still exists. So
That's how a lot of movies and all that too that we see, super human or whatever, Superman, all the, what are they called, superheroes?
mm-hmm.
They're portraying that as like, it's not a real thing. That like, oh well,
Yeah, it's
this guy can't
fantasy.
fly,
Yeah.
but it's like we can do those things. It's just the way they made it would seem it was so unrealistic because we live in a logical world.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get into it, you can do those things. It's just exactly what you said. We are bound to the limitations of this, where we don't see it like that, but you can do those things.
Yeah.
And I was also going to mention too, Fabian. I was thinking we could have started this too with starting off with numerology. That might have been a better starting point because, like, that's simple. Anyone can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Find out your birthday and all that.
Hey, we'll get to that. We'll get to all that stuff. I think this was a good like general video, and it had some good information in there, and we'll get to more of that stuff. We should probably wrap it up though. I'm sure it's my storage is gonna be screaming, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry for the kind of crappy gameplay, but
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
You went alone.
I will do more videos with Isaiah if he wants, and we'll just see where more stuff, just see how it takes us, and hopefully get you guys thinking a little more. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Say bye, Isaiah.
Bye.
Peace out.